So I was laying here and I was thinking about that one song by Beyonce. Me, myself, and I is all I got in the end, is what I found out. That song. So it really got me to thinking. Me, myself, and I. It's all I got in the end. And I was just like, she couldn't have said nothing truer than that. Me, myself, and I. So in that equation, I am I, right? I am I, and me, myself, and I, right? So I am aware of me, and I am aware of myself. And then I was thinking, like, myself, like my self. And then I was just like, that sounds like so like endearing, like an endearing term, myself, like something like darling, right? So then I just really got to thinking again, okay, me, myself, and I. I am consciousness. And because I am consciousness, it makes me aware of me and myself. So it makes me aware of my masculine and my feminine energy that all just coincide together. Me, myself, and I. Huh. Wow. That's all I got in the end. Like she says, what I found out. And then it's got me thinking about that TV show. It's called Once Upon a Time. It used to be on Netflix. I believe it's on like Hulu or like Disney Plus now, or just what have you. But in that show, it's got me to thinking because if you've never seen it, it's just really like a modern day of like the story, the fairy tales, and it's just retold with the twist in modern terms. Instead of like, the cartoons, it's just people. Now I'm showing you like just modern day things. So that show, it really got me to thinking. Back from like me, myself, and I, right? When they were in the Enchanted Forest, think about that as like the spiritual realm. So they're in the enchanted forest in a spiritual realm. They're all living out their own fairy tales. And then of course, the evil queen, she's got it out for Snow White. And because she's just pure jealousy and she wanted to be the, queen, but the Snow White had the heart of the people. So because of this queen's jealousy, she couldn't get revenge because in this show, she thought Snow White got her true love murdered, but it was really the evil queen's mother because she wanted that power from her daughter being queen, right? But she just let her believe that it was Snow White, and she spent her whole life trying to get revenge against this girl, right? So her revenge went so deep that she created a like a created like a controlled reality, right? So in this curse, which she got from Rumpelstiltskin, and so in the show, either like Rumpelstiltskin, he would represent like the ego because he thought he was like the most powerful sorcerer of them all, right? Because he was the dark one, he had all these powers and abilities, but he thought he was the only one until he met somebody greater than he. And then that got me even thinking about like Sister Sophia's story with Yahweh, right? Yahweh started thinking he was the most powerful and all this other stuff, right? And then Sophia kept telling him, like, bruh, no, you're not. Like, cool, like chill, chill, chill. But Yahweh kept, "Hurrah." And then Sophia kept warning him, and then boom, he met some other people powerful than him, and then Yahweh took off running. But anyways, the only thing about Rumpelstiltskin, compare him to Yahweh, because like in the show Rumpelstiltskin, he wasn't always evil, you know. And then then he even started doing things like what making people sign contracts, signing over their soul, tricking them out of their stuff, right? And just think about our life today. All we do is a series of contracts. We either got to sign our name on something, acknowledge or agree to something, make a decision about something every single day. So it got me thinking about that part of that story too. But anyway, so Rumpelstiltskin gives the evil queen this curse. So this curse is supposed to be like, she can do pretty much whatever she wants. She'll be like have her like fantasy, pretty much her dream come true. She's supposed to have like, a true love, and she's supposed to be, in charge. So in this reality, because okay, they came out of the spiritual realm from the 5D now here into the 3D, right? She, instead of being queen, she's the mayor of the town, right? Of her own little town. But never once did she ask Rumpelstiltskin, the most powerful, so he thought, where did he get this curse from or nothing. She was just so set on revenge, like she couldn't see nothing. She was blinded from trying to get revenge on Snow White. So in this curse, she put everybody to sleep. They didn't remember who they were. Then it got me thinking about us now. We've been put here on this earth with no memory of who we are either. And then boom. So she thought this curse was foolproof until later on it was a savior. And that was the part Rumpelstiltskin never told her, because he knew that it was foolproof. I mean, not foolproof or whatever. He knew the whole time that 30 years she'll be in charge, and he was cool with that. And whatever, he'll be in charge for 30 years. I mean, she'll be in charge for 30 years, and then the savior was supposed to come and break the curse. So start thinking about the Bible again, even from Genesis now. The whole time, like, this savior, Jesus, supposed to come and save us, right? And do all these other things. And even like from even how that controlled reality was even created in this show, makes me think about how when this earth was created, it was created with magic too, right? And then everything placed into it, just like in this show too. And then, oh my, it just goes so deep for me. And I don't want to just go just like into the show, but it just got a lot of references here, like from the characters, the ego, greed, like, and it's got everything in here. And it's got me thinking, like, all of these shows and movies and stuff that we watch, obviously, like, I would love and I do mean love, to watch something for pure enjoyment. Sometimes it happens, but then most of the time it's something spiritual. My mind just starts making connections with different things, and then it just gets me doing research and then making videos like this. But Once Upon a Time is the name of the show. It's like on Hulu. And then think about it too. Just say it to yourself, me, myself, and I. And then you start thinking about things that you do. And just like makes me think about like the part in the Bible where it says like the devil will be blameless. And then it's like that always stuck to me, but I figured out a part of it, but it's like everything that you learn, it's like an onion, like Shrek said, it has layers, right? You can learn one thing and it can be the full truth, and then however you're going to pull back another layer, and it's going to go even deeper and then sound so crazy and far-fetched until you learn that, understand it, then you're going to pull back another layer. But it's like the thing about this is that it's like a never ending onion, a never ending layers. And as much as you think that you may know, there's always going to be another layer. And that's why I always say I would never ever say that I know everything, because it's impossible to know everything, because there's so much to know and there's so many layers and layers and layers. But and then like there's other movies too, like which I said, like The Truman Show. Felt like I lived out my life. But, and I say it again, like Moana, Frozen 2, if you've never seen it, there's just so many like great awakening movies. And if you want to take the route that I took, Star Wars, I started with the animated series, The Clone Wars. And that's how I found my connection to Most High Mother and Father, was learning about energy and then the life force and like things like when people pass away, like where does that energy go? And then the whole like the Jedi protecting, supposed to be the supposed to be the peacekeepers, but then the peacekeepers end up breaking the peace. Like they started, doing different things. Like that's how I learned a lot about how the things that I know, and it may sound silly to some, like, oh, how can you learn that from a show? I just cannot explain my intuition to nobody the way it works, but I do learn a lot from like movies and stuff. But I just wanted to share that little reference, a little connection that I just made. And it's like it sounds so simple, but I'm like I never really thought about it like to that extent. So of course I'm gonna keep thinking about it because it's just got the little trains in my head going now, just thinking about all this stuff and this how it all ties in, and even how it all just ties into us. Like today, I was just in the mirror today after I got out of the shower, and I'm still trying to figure out, like in my head, like I know once I draw it out on paper and once I really sit down with it, it'll make more sense to me. But I just haven't really had the time to just sit with paper yet. But anyways, like I was just doing this when I got out the shower, and I'm like just in my head trying to figure out, because in the spiritual realm, I've seen the rainbow and it's a complete circle. I made a video about this like a while back when I was talking about like the planets and stuff, but and I was just trying to figure out, because I walked on the rainbow, I ran across the rainbow, like all the colors, and I'm just like, how do we see an arch, but when I saw it, it's flat like this, but when we see it, it's like this. And then I started doing my head like this, and I'm like, our bodies, and I always say this, is a replication of nature. This is how the earth moves and how it spins. So then now in my head, I'm just like, what position is the earth in now, so that we can see what's like this, and then only see half of it too. Like my mind just goes through a lot of different stuff, but it also makes me excited because I love to learn. I love to learn from other people. I just like to learn in general. It just makes me happy, but I just wanted to share that with y'all. I know it's kind of random, but I am random.